Partnered by Times Influence.
A powerhouse forum and awards, along with a stellar lineup of eminent speakers. The 17th edition of the Voice and Data Telecom Leadership Forum 2017 was held in New Delhi. The forum is an annual meeting of the bigwigs of the telecom industry and other key stakeholders who come together to discuss and explore emerging business models. The theme this time centered around the topic Digital Telecom for Digital India.
See, there are three components of Digital India. One is the digital infrastructure, another is the software and services on demand, and the last one is citizens empowerment. Now, on the infrastructure front, a lot of positive developments have taken place in the country. In our mobile sector, we are now 1.2 billion mobile connections. A lot of networks are being converted to 4G networks. We are talking of 5G deployments in various sectors. So I think from a connectivity standpoint, the data consumption is skyrocketing. Other infrastructure pieces which India has built are essentially software infrastructure pieces, which is let's say digital platform, identity platform, Aadhaar. Similarly, we have created a framework for digital payments, which is unified payment interface. Now, that also is a very robust framework. So what has happened is that with these two platforms, we have built a slew of products on top of these two platforms. So what is happening is that India, from a software perspective, is now not merely a BPO nation. It is not merely just doing the business process outsourcing. It is actually a very solid, and very robust product nation, where we have built products which are scalable, which are very cost effective, which are frugal, and which actually in a way serves the bottom of the pyramid.
The telecom sector, I have taken on itself to be able to realize the Prime Minister's dream of Digital India. We have taken on ourselves to make sure that wireless broadband services, especially on 4G technology, is ubiquitous. The first and foremost, our belief is what took us 2 decades to build mobile highway which could serve 1.2 billion people. As far as building up a wireless broadband highway, it will take the next 2 to 3 years, where 1.2 billion people expanded over 500,000 towns and villages will be able to use 4G services. Secondly, not only get coverage but also increase capacity. Currently, as per last TRAI report, our usage of customers all put together with 300 million users is at levels of 40 petabytes per day. And I believe the industry is building up capacities which will reach up to anywhere between 250 to 300 petabyte over the next 2 to 3 year time periods. So ROW cost to be brought down, speed of approvals to be released, M&A policies approvals, M&A transactions to be approved as early as possible, E and V band to be reserved so that large capacities can be built and can substitute to fiber, as well as relook at the current levies which continue to be very high because certain funds need to be released so that the telecom industry can move away from the current stressful period and reinvest into growth of this country.
The telecom sector plays a key role in the Smart India vision. The next session gave insights into how the telecom ecosystem is working towards broadband infrastructure development and how fiber will be the backbone of this broadband infrastructure development in the country.
So I'd like to really ask you that as far as the technology framework is concerned, what are the key challenges, especially when we are looking at an enormous deployment of stuff which will stress the networks very severely?
Challenge has been a lack of standardization still in smart cities, which obviously leaves us to a very open ecosystem for application development. And we don't have a common data infrastructure which have a singular data model or APIs which can be thrown to the northbound or to the southbound to the network. Now, those are the challenges when you have a multi-vendor system as a system integration part to provide a solution. We are trying to put across is having a common platform. How do we aggregate all these information coming on a common platform, which is real time, which is contextual, which is like a command and control center, which is intelligent, and which is automated. And then have a common data model from that platform and put it up to the ecosystem who can derive application and services over it. And that's the framework of technology we are putting on the system, where we are working with multiple smart cities RFPs, as you know that, to get it done. But the use cases, I will say it that way. The use cases are very regional, are very, depending on the place. A Delhi use case of pollution would be very different than a use case of high rains in Kerala, which is very different. So this has to be very contextual and real time to solve it. That's the way we'll look at it.
5G is touted as the next big thing for the telecom sector, transforming customer experience and taking value-added services for various sectors to the next level. This session talked about how 5G is transforming aspirations into reality.
If you look at what's going on in the world, transformation actually has really started. And why do we say that the transformation has started? Fundamentally because today all our decisions are impacted in a manner which is influenced by what we see and the targeted way in which they are being done. If you look at whatever videos that you see in YouTube, you are prompted to see that video. You don't want to see that, but you are prompted and you inadvertently see those videos. If you look at what happened in US, you all are aware. The voting patterns are being influenced in a certain fashion and they are getting established now. If you look at your purchase decisions, they are already getting impacted. So even if you don't want to purchase a thing or you are wanting to purchase a thing, both the things are actually being decided by somebody else, not by you. So that's the kind of influence, the transformation of what machines are doing and what analytics are doing is already happening.
I think the most important aspect that was to take away was how do we ensure that today we build the infrastructure that's required for building out this 5G over the next 3 to 5 years. It's really, really important that the industry, the government, as well as all the other stakeholders work together in planning this, because for us, the government, which is looking at 100 smart cities, but it's also looking at Digital India. It also has plans that across all the highways it wants to build the digital infrastructure. So all of this has to come together so that we have one plan as a country, and then we can really make sure that we have a future-proof network.
In the session Beyond the Customer Market, the panelists deliberated on how telcos and other communication service providers can help organizations integrate customers, partners and employees to increase revenue and decrease operating costs in the growing enterprise market.
We at Jio, I think, have been instrumental in bringing about, overall, I think we all know, brought about 150 million subscribers which are on our network today, and where India was a year back in terms of the data consumption, 155th rank, I believe, we have leapfrogged to #1. So that's what this whole transformation we are bringing about, and with the industry, I think we are impacting and empowering the lives of 1.2, 1.3 billion Indians.
So first of all, from a B2B point of view, I'd like to offer that the telecom sector start evolving their thinking from being a pipe provider to a platform and services provider. Along the lines of what Google and Amazon are now doing, because a lot of enterprises are beginning to leverage these platforms. I think it's an opportunity for telecom companies to really graduate to that.
The last leg of the event discussed a very pertinent issue grappling the industry, skill development. General SP Kochar, CEO Telecom Sector Skill Council, talked about the importance of specialized skill sets in the panel defining the Skills Manifesto for Telecom 2022.
We have advocated 3 levels of skilling for every role, and the first level is this common skills, that is soft skills, communication skills, little bit of finance. Second, in the mid-ranking, and the maximum amount of skilling is done there, that is for generic subject matter expertise. So that when a person passes out of that level, he is almost 80% skilled to go into a job, into any company. Balance 20% is what we are calling as vaulted skills, which are specific to a company. Like using a common assembly line for producing multiple mobile phones by having a vaulted area at the end of the assembly line. So that is what we have now started doing.
If we are creating a vision of the future, there has to be space to accommodate new and creative ideas. And new and creative ideas mostly come from young entrepreneurs. So we got to find a way to engage these budding new entrepreneurial population in the country with these initiatives and have them a path, provide them a path to contribute their ideas into building the networks of tomorrow and the vision for the country.
If we have to succeed in this country for 5G and for the digital penetration, we have to collaborate and cooperate. Compete we will, but at the same time we have to collaborate and cooperate. We have to share our resources, we have to share our optical fibers, we have to share our towers, we have to share and then evolve an ecosystem which will be good for the country's progress.
The final end objective of any of these initiatives is happy life, happy citizens, happy India. That is what is final outcome. If you look at it, what is smart city? It has finally to solve the problems faced by the common man, right? So you have to create ecosystems, as I would be repetitive, wherein they give you absolute transparency, accountability and ownership and governance. As soon as you do it, you bring the level of individuals in this country 10 levels up.
The valedictory session for the evening saw some of the most prominent personalities express their views on the future of the telecom sector.
I just had the opportunity of listening to one of the world's leaders in wireless technology, Professor Paul Raj, who is an Indian, one of the most eminent Indians in this field. And he is the one who is the original inventor of MIMO technology. And he told me something which literally took my breath away, because he started his address to us in the DOT with the words that in the 1850s, India was the most advanced country in the world of telecommunications. Long before any other country had built a telecom network, thanks to Sean Hennessy and his team, India actually had the first and the largest telecom network in the world. And therefore, while today we must celebrate the absolutely outstanding contributions of India's best and brightest, and we have tall leaders, we have really hungry leaders, we have visionary leaders in the world of technology.
If you look at telecom and telecom's importance in the overall social space today, it is more of a utility, it is more of a very important necessity which will let us live the way we want to. Every part of our life is now connected with telecom, every industry is connected with telecom. So the story about how are you going to break this into thin, very, very efficient slices, personalized for every type of consumption. The consumption could be personal, the consumption could be institutional, the consumption could be academic, the consumption could be industry specific, which we call as vertical consumption, automobile way of working, a medicine and health way of working, an education way of working. Now all of these vertical consumption behaviors driven by a very, very ubiquitous connectivity layer and a very, very intelligent layer who understands and adapts itself to provide for the overall framework on which these capabilities can be realized is what is going to happen. It will not be one size fits all like it was earlier when you just connect and forget. This will be much more personalized, much more sharper, much more focused.
The gala event culminated into the Voice and Data Leadership Awards 2017, a ceremony that rewarded exemplary work in the sector. For the category Mobile Money in Leadership Recognition Award, the outstanding winner this year was BSNL. The winner under the category of Network Innovation was none other than Sterlite Technologies. The next category was Emerging Telecom Company of the Year, and the winner of this category was Aero Voice. Apart from the 21 category awards, there were 3 very prestigious jury awards. The first in this category was Telecom Person of the Year, and the winner was none other than the corporate bigwig Mukesh Ambani, Chairman and Managing Director of Reliance Industries. Matthew Uman was there to receive the honor on his behalf.
The Telecom Award of the Year, the Telecom Person of the Year, I think about it and say, at the least, Digital Empowerment and Enablement Person of the Year. I think it is the least that a force like Mukesh continues to be for the digital and societal transformation of this nation. Thank you very much for having bestowed this on Mukesh, our Mukesh Bhai, Mr. Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani. I wish you all a great session today where the industry, the academia, the startups, and the telecom, as well as every single individual, will take this nation to prosperity and to new frontiers. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
The Telecom CTO Award was backed by Shyam Madikar, Chief Technical Officer, Mobility at Bharti Airtel. And the final category was Telecom Contribution Award, and the honor was given to Asim Ghosh, former Managing Director and CEO of Hutchison SR. Sanjoy Mukherjee was there to receive the honor on his behalf.
Telecom industry is not only a technology or individual industry. It is working as a growth driver for each and every industry, whether you talk about agriculture, pharma, automobile, IT, any industry. Without telecom, it is nothing. So telecom is going to play a growth driver for each and every industry. Unfortunately, since last one and a half year, the industry is struggling. Entire industry is into negative domain, negative area, negative thought, and nobody knows what is going on. There are a lot of consolidation going on, a lot of negative things happening in industry. So we are going to take away from the events. We want to be positive, and whatever happen, and let's move further toward 5G and toward to create a better telecom domain, better telecom industries. A new telecom policy is being drafted. Maybe it will come in next couple of months. Thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister and government, who has given vision of Digital India, Make in India, putting huge investment into infrastructure. Like we are talking about 5G, we are talking about other technology. So we are putting huge money into infrastructure. We should create an infrastructure which should be future-proof, which should be sustainable. That if tomorrow we have to launch 6G, 7G, so same infrastructure can be used. That infrastructure should be a world class and should be future-proof. Savitri is basically present in each and every pillar of technology, starting from fiber to infrastructure to high technology and solution, telecom technology solution. So we are having our footprint in every area, and we are ready to contribute to all the player who is responsible for enabler of digital India, who is responsible for making make in India. So we are present in each and every domain of telecom technology, whether we have manufacturing, we have fiber infrastructure creation, we are into maintenance, we are into T&M technology and solution, we are into cyber security, we are into Wi-Fi, we are into IoT. So we have our footprint in everywhere.
The 17th edition of Voice and Data Telecom Leadership Forum is committed to provide a common platform to all telecom stakeholders to discuss the industry issues and concerns. Here are some of the views expressed by the telco leaders.
If you look at last year, we were talking about disruption, a new player came in. Prior to that, we were talking about OTTs, eating our tea and lunch, So I think industry has come to a realization. That's why I think I honestly, from core of my heart, congratulated them, because there's an optimism. They are embracing digitization, and when you do that, you're getting yourself ready to create the new revenue streams.
From our perspective, 5G is not a major stepping stone. So what we are saying is what you do in 4G today should be able to support 5G. And I think what we are doing on 4G today will definitely help us bring 5G faster into the market.
India always gets ready from demand. So India is always a constraint-driven market. So once you have demand, the supply starts shaping up to start delivering that. And you can see it in any infrastructure. You can see it in roads, you can see it in power, you can see it in gas, electricity. The same is happening here. The data pull, people now require that amount of data. And 5G is just an extension. It's a more efficient way of transmitting or packaging data in the same amount of spectrum. So technology will keep moving forward as long as there is a demand for it. And we clearly see that the demand for data is clearly there. So the supply moving towards a more efficient technology has to happen.
Voice and data started off in '94. Just 2 months after the first telecom policy came out in the country. I remember the day the policy came out, a few days after that, we had an ad out in the papers saying that, the government has come out with a policy and we are coming out with a B2B publication to shape the entire industry that is going to emerge out of that. And I'm glad that, we've continued to play that role over these last 23 years now. So, it's a great feeling.
Partnered by Times Influence.